Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. Narcissists smear, it's just what they do. And when they do, they will undermine your reputation and they will often state that you're the one with massive psychological problems. And boy, do we feel like saying, would you like to look in a mirror? Anyway, today's Thriver TV episode is all about how to not come across as a crazy one, to feed the lies, and how not to just survive a narcissist smear campaign, but actually defeat their attempts to discredit you. Today, I'm going to share with you my personal story with smearing because I know it will help you. And I know that you'll want to watch this because chances are you have been or you are being smeared. Okay, before we get started, thank you everyone who subscribed to my channel and for supporting the Thriver mission. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I want to remind you to please do. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It's unthinkable for anyone with a conscience to tell downright lies about another person. It's deeply hurtful when somebody does this against you, and with such conviction as narcissists do. You may not have realized this about narcissists. They literally believe in their own BS. I know it's unfathomable, but it's true. The narcissist's disordered thinking has them firmly convinced that it's you who is the culprit, crazy, and the problem. Deeply unconscious people who refuse to take any personal responsibility for their feelings and their behavior are skilled at automatically flicking their internal switch to projection. In fact, it's an automatic response that they have no control over. They just do it. And then there is the hardened psychopath type who can chillingly look people straight in the eyes and tell them the most horrendous of lies about you without flinching. Either way, when dealing with a narcissist, they are highly believable. I promise you this, narcissists know how to smear people in expert ways, where it comes across as balanced and non-judgmental, and where other adults think, surely no adult would say that unless it's true. Whereas, as highly agitated victims, when we try to retaliate with our truth of things, we're angry, devastated, and we come across as non-balanced and incredibly judgmental. So who are people going to believe? I really want you to think about this, whether you're talking with your sister or you're in a stand in a courthouse. Being triggered in relation to smearing, of course you're going to be triggered. There is nothing more devastating and unjust than having somebody spread horrible lies about you, especially when those lies are usually exactly what that person themselves did or does. However, I really want to set you straight here, and it's important to understand the truth in this. Your triggers are handing exactly the bullets for the narcissist to keep shooting you with. They make you look crazy. They make the narcissist's job easy to keep ripping you apart and destroying your credibility in your life. And the harder you go in whilst traumatized, trying to get people and authorities to believe you and see the truth, the less it happens. And it may just seem like such a horrible deal, but it's pure quantum law. So within, so without. Meaning if you attempt anything whilst being in a level of trauma, the only result you will have from that is more things to traumatize you, because we always get more of who we are being. This is why the doing is totally ineffectual. I've seen people smashed repeatedly when stuck in the premise of trying to thwart the outside with doing whilst traumatized on the inside. Tragically and horrifically, I've seen people lose everything and even their children when trying to defend the narcissist smear campaigns. And I wish it wasn't the case. I wish such horrors don't happen, but they do. So rather than stay in our victimized beingness, we can apply another way to tackle this and to emerge victorious, where we don't suffer the complete and utter devastation that these people have. And it all starts with healing beyond your triggers. Those of you who know my work know I believe in past lives. Those of you who really know my work know that I believe that when traumas are in our life, this is showing us that we already have an existing trauma that matches, trapped within our energy field. Otherwise, this couldn't be in our experience today. And here is the key. When we do the inner healing work with NARP, it takes you directly to the core wounds in your genetic past life, childhood, and collective human trauma history that are matching the wounds of today and releases them so that you can evolve beyond that experience. When it's gone from the inside, it must leave your experience on the outside, and it does. In my previous experiences before Thriver Recovery, there was always someone wanting to take me down, discredit me, or smear me. And I mean always. And then, of course, the narcissist smearing and dismantling of my life was the big bad wolf, the thing that completely blew my house and my life down. Having departments, authorities, family, friends, and colleagues, and even my son side with the narcissist was so traumatizing, I thought I was going to die. And I had no idea how I was ever going to win my life and keep people back. Of course, initially I did the predictable. I tried to justify, explain, stop it, go into damage control. It was beyond terrible, and I was being destroyed everywhere because nothing I was doing helped, and I ended up losing out horrifically. When I finally woke up to the truth, I stopped doing all of that because I knew I had existing persecution programs in my subconscious, and these were showing up in billboard evidence in my life as a result of what was happening. It was so big that there was no avoiding this truth anymore. And no longer was I going to suffer the devastation of missing this. I was onto it. So I completely took my focus off what was happening on the outside, and I went diligently and purposefully to the inside, where I found these persecution programs with quantum freedom healing regarding being tried and found guilty and even put to death, and having a literal terror of anybody thinking badly of me because of this. And this made so much sense. Even as a little girl, I've been terrified of doing anything wrong and what would happen to me if I did. I want you to understand that humanly, collectively, this is a really, really common wound amongst narcissistic abuse sufferers, and it's a terrible wounding that narcissists can use against you. Now, I want you to understand a deeper truth here, and this is really important for you to understand. Narcissists will always deliver to you the exact wounds that you need to heal. The wounds that you need to heal to go free and have your highest and your best life. Even before the narcissist, this subterranean terror of persecution, which I'd carried for many lifetimes, was holding me back. It had stunted me and hurt me in more ways than I can describe. It had caused me to people please, hand power away, not rock the boat, and it never allowed me to be fully myself. As I diligently met and cleared all of my inner fears of persecution, the following miracles started to happen without me doing anything. They were generating from my beingness. I discovered that I didn't care what anybody else thought of me. I no longer felt like I was going to be court-martialed, executed, or abandoned by people in life if they didn't believe in who I was. I knew who I was, and I also knew that Source had my back. I felt safe, anchored in my body, and safe to be here, regardless of what other people were thinking or not thinking. It was a miracle. I'd never felt this way before. And that's when everything shifts. The inner feeling precedes the outer change. And radically change it did for me. People started turning their back on the narcissist and coming back to me in droves. My key people saw the truth. He screwed up with them, and the police caught him out. He became exposed. Justice came, but here is the thing. I hadn't even needed it to, because I was at peace before it came. So true to quantum law, more things to grant me peace arrived. All the smear campaigns and the attacks stopped abruptly They just stopped. But there was even so much more regarding the topic about persecution. Everything changed. I discovered going forward that I was able to start speaking up, confronting things, being myself, and there was no longer the angst around people judging me or believing I might be bad or wrong. In fact, the releasing of the persecution programs allows me to be so easy and open and revolutionary in my presentations with you. The bottom line is I'm just being me. I'm not worried about being judged or what people think. No longer am I living in the internal terrors of the times of being stoned to death or burnt on a stake. I really want you to know this. When you release all your fears as a result of healing your internal persecution programs, the narcissist has no power over you. And I know this may seem glib or even ridiculous, but truly can you understand and admit that what you've been trying hasn't been working? Are you willing to look for and live a deeper way of life that is the truth? If so, please write below, I'm going to find and live free of my persecution programs now. And I promise you that when you start living like this, you will wonder how on earth you were trying to do life any other way, other than from your own core. Whether you're still carrying the traumas of past smearing that has ripped your life apart, or you're in the middle of a horrific smear campaign, I'm telling you that when you find the resident trauma within you and release it, all of it will disappear. I've seen families reunited after decades when people do this inner work, because those who were turned against people come back into their lives. I've seen narcissists defeated in court cases regarding property and custody when people diligently work on their inner universe first and foremost. Can something in you sense this is true? Your cellular inner being always knows the truth when you listen to it. So please come with me and find out more about how to heal all of your internal trauma that has been causing so much pain, including your persecution program, so that you can end these horrible smear campaigns once and for all. You can do that by clicking the link at the top right of this video. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe so that you'll be notified as soon as each new one is released. And if you liked this, click like. Also, please share with your communities so that we can help people awaken to these truths. And as always, I'm greatly looking forward to answering your comments and your questions below. So until next time, keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.